So we ended at a stage where we can pull data out of a SQLite database and display it here. The next stage that we'd like to do is be able to add a new student here, that we're including all 4 of these different columns here. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to first create another page with another route, and we're going to have another button up here. So we're going to edit this button, make this one home. We'll add the second one next to it that makes it that refers to something like adding a student. So hopefully we are still that we haven't lost any of this stuff. This here is our home page, and you'll see when I scroll down here, you'll see near the top here with our Jumbotron, you'll see a button primary, and this is one that says learn more. We're going to rename this to home. I'm going to go Control D to duplicate it, or copy and paste if you prefer, and I'm going to add another button here that just refers to add student. So now if I hit stop and rerun, you should see I end up with this now. So here with this home, the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to program this because it's a handy bit just to add as a piece of start. Here with this href, what I want to do is I want to create a bit in here inside the href, which is going to point it back to that home route. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey href, when this button is clicked, come back to here and find a definition called homepage and invoke that, right, and send my user there. So here within home, the way that I do that is I do a double brackets again, and I use something called URL4, and I use this. So I've got a URL underscore 4, open bracket, close bracket with open and close quotation marks inside that. And what I want to do is I want to create a bit here that says homepage. So now when I hit stop and run, it will take me to here. When I click on home, it'll take me back to home. Now it doesn't look like anything changes there, but in a moment as we add this add student, when we create a new page here, that's going to be something that will then make it at least look a little bit different. So here under templates where I have my home, I'm going to right click on the parent folder and say new HTML file. I'm going to call this new HTML file add student. I'm going to select everything within add student and delete it. So now I just have an empty HTML file. I'm going to come back here to home, and I'm going to Control A to copy, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, come back here to add students, and Control V to paste. Now the next thing that I need to do is come back here to app, and I'm going to need to add an extra route here. So I'm going to say app route, and this is just going to be called add, and I want this to be called add student. And for now, all that I want it to do is return render template, and I just want it to return add student.html for now. And I'm going to come back here to my add student, and I'm going to edit my top bit here. No, I'm not. I'm just going to delete all of my table. So I don't actually want this table in here because that's going to be something that that is just for displaying the data. So all that I'm going to have within my add students is just going to be my Jumbotron here. Now I need to copy this URL4 and make sure that I'm actually routing it correctly. So I'm going to copy all the content here within my href, and I'm going to overwrite this hashtag here for my add student. This time I'm going to route it to add, what was the term that I used? Add student, add underscore student. So now I should have 2 buttons, one that says home, one that says add students, and they should do a URL4. Now I actually need to copy this same line or the same content from the href and put it onto my home page here as well. If you're feeling particularly advanced, you are more than welcome to go and have a look at code blocks, which is a much better way to do that. More of that in due course. So now what I should have when I hit stop and run and return to my page here is that I now have this page in which I deleted the table, and I can skip back here to home. Right? So I can now skip between these 2 tables. None of this changes, of course, because I haven't edited any of the Jumbotron. It looks like it's exactly the same thing. So here are my add students. What am I actually going to add on here? Well, first I'm going to drag this over. I'm actually going to, I think, delete, no, not delete, but close all these other files that I won't use for now. So straight underneath my Jumbotron, what I want is I want to have a form. And this form is just going to have 4 items in it where a user can add a student first name, a student surname, street address, and suburb with a submit button underneath it. So what I can do is I can come back here to Bootstrap and I can search for form, and in due course it will eventually find for me a page here on forms. We'll try that again. Page here on forms. So we just want something that's just going to be simple like this. You can see as you scroll down that there's copious amounts of options that you can do here to make your form as pretty or as dynamic as you want. We're just going to use the very top one here, and even then we're probably going to do a little bit of editing on that. So this has got 2 fields with a submit button. It's also got a check me out, which is we can checkbox it. We'll remove that. We'll also probably remove this here as well. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it here within my add students. Control-Alt-L to just format it and indent it all nicely within PyCharm. Now when I hit stop and run again and return to that page, you'll see that I have this here. Now by default, this will make Bootstrap will format it to take up the whole space here. We actually don't want that. That's a bit ugly. So what we're going to do is just within Bootstrap here, on either side of this form, we're going to add a div tab, and we're going to add a thing in here called container, and we're going to close it. Now it's going to, by default, close that div tag here. So I'm going to cut it. I'm going to paste it at the bottom of the form. Go Control-Alt-L again. So this is, if I give myself some space, just putting a div with class container on either side of our form. Now this doesn't look like a huge change, but what it should do is make it look a lot neater. It'll bring it in so that it just doesn't look quite so hellishly ugly. So with our basic starter here, just about ready to go, the next thing we need to do is go about editing some of this. So I'll just give myself some extra screen real estate, hit stop here, and we'll have a look at what we have here within the form group. So the first thing that we have is this div here, which is a form group with an called example input email, which is for email address. We're going to change this to first name, and in the next line down where it says input for what type is it, well, we just want this just to be straight text, and that will do most of what we want. Now it's also got this small here. It says we'll never share your email with everyone. So that's this part here. We can ditch that entirely. So just delete that line. If you're in PyCharm, it's Control Y. I'm sure that there's similar examples and other bits that are out there. We have this next form group here, which is asking for password. We can just call this surname, and we can make this text again. And then afterwards, it's got this checkbox. This checkbox takes up a whole div here. So we can actually delete this whole div entirely and just go Control S to save. Let's see how far we've come now in terms of getting that right. Stop, add student. So we now have first name, we now have surname, and we can enter data into either of it. We can click on a button that does nothing. So what we want to do next is make sure that we can now fill in the next 2 items of detail, which is street address and suburb. So I can select all this stuff and Control C, Control V to copy and paste, or again, if you're in PyCharm, you can Control D to duplicate it. Now you see that straight away we've got an error here, this being ID. And each of these IDs is like an email address. It has to be unique. So what we're going to do is we're going to rename each of these IDs to be surname, street address, to be what they are actually going to end up holding. In the same way as we just need to edit some of this data here to make sure that it makes sense for our users. So this is just the label as it appears up on here. So now when I hit stop and run again and return to here, go to add student, you'll see that I now have these 4 bits here with our submit. So the trick now is being able to add data, or take this data and accept it out of HTML and actually drop it into our SQLite database. So the first thing that we need to think about then is how we go about taking the data in the opposite direction to what we've done before, whereas we've normally gotten data and we've pulled it out of Flask here, we might have sent something down, student data. Well, now we actually want it to come back in the other direction. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to have this add, this / add route here, accept 2 different methods. We want it to accept 2 methods, and we're going to put these into a list here, get and post. So it's going to accept these methods. So hopefully you're familiar with both get and end with post. Get is your user saying, hey, get me this data. You pull it off Flask or whatever your web server is. Your post is, hey, this is the user giving some data back to the server. By default, the routes up here are just using get. So get is just a stock standard, this is what we're doing. Hey, I'm going to send data out to my user. This one additionally now accepting post means that we can get it to do both back and forth here. So this is a really, really important distinction. What we want to do is we want to add in here an if statement where we say if request.method is equal to get, I'll try to format that correctly, then what we want our user to do is just do their usual return render template. But otherwise, what we want them to do is we might just say here's a post request. Right, so what we're saying is that, hey, if we have just a regular get, because as the user goes to add, we want it to add students, but when they click on this submit button, it's going to go back to the same URL, but this time it's going to send some data with it. So what we're really saying to Flask here is that, hey, if there's no data, then it means that the user's just going to the page just when they first arrive. But if you're getting post data with it, then this means that they've clicked on that submit button, and then you've got to do something different with it. Now you'll see that my request here is throwing me an error, and that's because we need to import it up in here with our request, so then that'll become a bit happier. Now if I were to run this and hit go to add students, you'll see that it just loads the page as normal, and that's because it's just here under this, hey, my method this time, my request method is get, and therefore just load the page as normal. What we really want to do is get it to see if we can post data, and before it does anything with that data, just say, hey, we recognize that this is a post request. We don't actually do that within Flask, we do it here within HTML, where we provide instructions here within this form. So the way that this is going to work is that here within form, we give it this action. And we say, hey, you're going to get an action, and the action is to go to http:/localhost 5000/add. So this would be whatever the URL normally is with this add appended. What we're doing is we're saying, hey, when that submit button is clicked, go and do this, except I need to make sure that localhost is spelled correctly, and then return it to here. And I'm going to say afterwards that the method of this is going to be post. So now we're saying that when that submit button is clicked, go back to that URL, and I can make this any URL, I can make it home, I can do whatever, but send it as a post request. So now let's hit go, and we won't actually be sending any data or anything just yet, but we should see when we hit submit, you say, hey, here is a post request. So this is an instance where it has recognized that, hey, this is not a get method coming through, this is something else. In our instance, it's going to be a post. Now, rather than just adding, just returning it to add student.html, what we're going to do is we're just going to create a brand new template here. So right click on templates, new HTML file. This is going to just be called add success. And we're just going to take our add student, so our add student page here, Control A, Control C, and paste it here into add student. But this time we're just going to delete the add container entirely. We're just going to add a H1 here saying student has been added successfully. Alright, so we now have add success. Because what we can do here with this new template of add success.html is instead of return rendering here as a post request, we will return, using correct template, return render template, add success.html. So now we should know that, hey, if we're just getting a post request, we're adding a student, if there's data coming with it, then hopefully this is just going to be added successfully, and then it's all done and dusted. The one piece that's missing, of course, is that it's currently not actually connected to our database at all. It doesn't go and retrieve anything, it doesn't go and add anything, and it's not actually doing anything, this whole thing here. So what we need to do is we need to add something here that will pass it from this route here into another query, but instead of calling a query which is a select, it's going to call a query that is going to insert data into it. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to create a new variable here called student details, and we're going to make it equal to a tuple, and we want it to be equal to request.form first name. Now, where is this actually coming from, this request.form? Well, when the post data comes through, it's going to take whatever is in that form, or whatever data comes out of that form. So if I come back to here, you might remember that we added this ID for first name. We're now going to go about adding a name to this form input here, and the name is going to be the name that we use, or the name that's going to be recognized by Flask. So what that means is that I'm going to need to copy this a couple of times and paste it in my input each time, and dump that in there, and then we're going to dump that in there. But we're going to need to rename each one so that it's appropriately named, street address, and suburb. So what we've now done is we've added a name to each one of our form inputs. Back here within Flask now, we can reference that stuff. So I can just create 4 rows here, separate them with a column, and say first name, surname, street address, suburb. And now whatever data comes back from this post is going to go into this value here, this variable, student details. it's going to take all 4 of them and bundle them up into a tuple for me. Right? Now this currently won't really do anything, but what we can do just to check that it is actually working is we can add a print student details here before it renders a template. I'm just going to see what happens here. When we hit go, return back here to add students, I'm just going to add test, 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 and hit submit, and it goes to students been added successfully. We know that it hasn't because it doesn't even touch our database. But if I scroll down here, you'll see that it takes all of this data and it's got it all here for me because that printing is actually doing it. So what we're going to do here is, instead of having a print, we're actually going to add a student. We're going to create a new query that's going to do that. So as before, we have def query contact details. We're now going to do def add student. We're going to accept a variable into this one of student details. And just let me make that a pass for now. But we can make this add student and pass in student details. And you'll see that I've got an error here, which is really poor programming, but I've got a route called add student, and I've got a def here of add student, so I won't actually be able to do that. So I'm going to say insert student, so that we have unique naming here. So what this one here is going to do is effectively the same as this, except instead of selecting from the database, it's going to insert into the database. Quite handily, I've got it right here. I can go copy, and I can go paste. Beautiful stuff. Now there's going to be one important distinction here, and this is that instead of it just selecting everything, I now need to pass a set of variables here into this execute command, and this makes it a little bit more complicated. What I need to do first is I need to create this string as a separate variable first, and then pass it into this c.execute. So what does this actually mean? What it means is that I'm going to create a variable here called SQL execute string, and I'm going to add in what I would normally pass into here. So this would be insert into contact details, and I've got first name, surname, street address, suburb, values. And then beyond here, within this, I would add 4 different values. So this would be the actual first name, surname, street address, and suburb. In this instance though, I'm going to add them through as placeholders, and 4 placeholders, each one of them a question mark. So that's getting a bit challenging to read, so we'll just see if we can give ourselves some more space. So this is now going to say, hey, this variable here, SQL execute string, is just worth this whole bit here. And these 4 values at the end, this is telling our SQL execute, our c.execute, that hey, you should expect 4 additional values here. So what does this mean for what we have? Well, what it does mean is that we can kill all of our trip quotation there, and we can pass through instead this string that we have, SQL execute string. I could have made this a select, I could have made it an anything. If I add it as a string and pass it in here to the c.execute, it will execute it as if it was regular SQL code. Now what I can do is I can add student details here as an additional value. And what it'll say is, hey, there are 4 values in here, and I know that there's 4 because I've passed through 4, and there are 4 question marks. Those question marks are placeholders. Take each of these 4 items and put them into each one of those question marks. So it does it one after another. Now I don't need to have a variable that is c.fetchAll, and all that I really need to do at the end of this is I need to do connie.commit and connie.close probably. So let's go and see if this works now. And really the only instance that we should know that it works is that we can go back to the home page and see that it has actually added our data. Let's hit stop and run. And we're going to go to our home as normal. See, we've got our 3 students. We're going to add students, and we're going to add test, 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 test. We're going to see if we've broken this. Hit submit, and it says students have been added successfully. Well, if we click on home now, you'll see that test has been added in each instance. So piecing all these various skills together should give you a pretty good start in terms of how to manipulate a backend SQLite database using a Flask instance in this case. In terms of what comes next, probably the most obvious would be to go about adding some code blocks, because that will make it much easier for you to go about manipulating your user interface at one level and having it cascade down everywhere else. A really valuable skill. It would also be worth seeing if you can replicate this same functionality with an update query instead of an insert query. Instead of an insert, that's quite a valuable thing to be able to do as well. And otherwise, see if you can expand this out, incorporate multiple tables.